What you making in the shop today? Got a couple Alexes to help you find a way. From the blueprints to the shavings on the floor. Put up a stool, let's see what's behind the door. Keep on creating, keep the vision in your sight. Shout out to the bakers doing work that's done right. This episode is brought to you by Next Wave CNC. Precision in your hands for the world to see. What you making?
Welcome to What You Making, a podcast all about what's on our bench. We spotlight makers throughout the community and remind you that I didn't prep anything for this opening this week, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Tonight's main topic is brushes, brooms, and hand tools. Oh my! I'm Alex Duffey, and you can find me on Instagram and on YouTube at Duffey Woodcraft.
And I am Alex over at Type A Furniture, and you can find me on Instagram under that exact same handle.
All right. What You're Making is proudly sponsored by Next Wave CNC. If you're looking for the best CNC on the market today, look no further than a Shark CNC from Next Wave. 100% American made in Perrysburg, Ohio. Next Wave is the leader in desktop CNCs with sizes from a 1x1 to a 4x4. You'll find the right machine for your shop. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing okay. But you know who's doing great is our patrons.
Ooh.
Because they get early access to the show as one of their perks, and as many of the other perks are listed on the other tiers that are over on patreon.com/whatyourmakingshow. So you can go over there and find out what those are.
Who are you?
Tonight's main guest is someone who keeps shops clean around the world, builds incredible furniture, and sadly is in the same county as Mr. Adams. Welcome to the show, Ashley Pieper of Shallow Creek Woodcraft.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry you live so close to him.
No, so clarification. So I am in York, Nebraska, which is a York County. She is also in a York County, but in a different state, or is close to a York County. Are you in York County,
York
Ashley?
County. Yep, Pennsylvania, though.
Yep. Much larger
okay.
Place. So yeah, whenever I see like you posting stuff that's like in York County, I'm like, oh, this is a great event. Oh wait, no, it's in Pennsylvania, so I can't go to that.
A little too far. I was actually just in Nebraska, so I have a good perception of how far that is. It is pretty far.
Alex's notes in our episode say, introduce Ashley, also in York County like Adams. So I assumed you guys lived next to each other.
I mean, it's all technically correct, but no.
Sort of. Same but different.
Same but different.
Same but different.
What were you in Nebraska for?
Was the Nebraska the pass through, or was it the destination?
It was the pass through. My son was looking at colleges, so we went to Kansas State and we went through Nebraska, like kind of quickly like this, and then we ended up at Iowa State.
Okay. What kind of programs is he looking at?
Agriculture. So ag programs like ag business, and he's still kind of trying to decide, but maybe like an ag studies program. That's a couple of different things. So that's where it was, Kansas and Nebraska and Iowa State, because they all have ag programs that are pretty good.
Yeah, they do also have a very good ag entrepreneurship program, because they've got the main campus and then East campuses where like a lot of the specialized ag programs are on Nebraska. So yes, I know that one.
Not on the Lincoln campus then.
Correct. Yeah, most of the stuff is on the East campus that's ag focused, because like they have the angler entrepreneurship program that's on the East campus and all the other stuff there. But they also they're like, because my wife always like pointing this out. She's like, you can always pick out the like fake country kids from the real country kids based on how they dress very, very quickly. Because she's very much of the opinion where it's like, you have to win your belt buckle. If you bought your belt buckle, you're not true country. You have to win it somehow.
That is true.
Are there people who are
animals involved?
Are there people who are trying to be fake country kids?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, so for those who may not know Ashley, do you want to give yourself a little introduction?
I'm Ashley Pieper of Shallow Creek Woodcraft. My website and handles are all Shallow Creek Woodcraft. I make fine furniture and brooms, handcrafted brooms. I'm also a teacher. I teach woodworking skills. Hopefully brooms at some point soon. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, and I'm in York County, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. What got you into woodworking and teaching?
Oh, wow. Well, teaching just because I really love the craft and I really enjoy sharing. And so it just took a natural progression there, first and foremost. So it was just kind of tumbled into it and just really enjoy it. Because I learn from the students too. So I guess learning and curiosity is probably the fast and easy answer for both things. But woodworking was more of a slow, like, progression into things by fixing stuff. I bought things and tried fixing them, and slowly it just grew a big interest. And I was like, I could do this, or I could figure out how to do this drawer, or oh, why would that turn out better if I did it this way? And so curiosity just kind of snowballed into hyper focus.
Nice. How long have you been doing woodworking? Sorry, I'm just going to grill you on questions now all of a sudden.
Oh, you're fine. People ask me that a lot, actually. Really designing my own work, making my own furniture in the capacity that I am now, probably about 5 years, but dabbling and learning, especially with it being a hobby, it's probably closer to about 15 years now.
Awesome. And then my last question around your backstory and stuff is, how'd you get into brooms?
I was curious. Same thing. I just saw them and I was like, oh, those are pretty awesome. And I like heritage crafts. I think it's really neat to be able to do something without power tools by hand. And it's made, I mean, there's pivots for common materials, like the threads are different, but if I wanted to, I could seek out something a little bit more akin to what was used before. But generally it's the same process. You know, there's really slight adaptations, but overall it's brooms are made the way brooms have always been made. And so I just find that to be really fascinating. And I was sick. I got some kind of nasty chest cold that just would not quit. And I really couldn't do sawdust for a little bit. And so I was bored and I was like, well, now's the time to try making brooms. And so I sat out on my porch and I could do something with my hands and not really be in the shop. And I just really enjoyed doing it.
Nice. All right. Well, then we'll move on to
What you doing?
So this week in my shop, I'm still full steam ahead on UFO Fest. I have been working, getting all the products I need ready for that. So last week I finished all of my D&D dice boxes. So I have 75 of those that I created, got all the felt done inside of them, got dice put into them and everything. So those are all done. I did another batch of earrings, and I expanded besides my normal like cut off shapes and stuff. I did Sasquatch, I did some UFOs, and I did some dragons as well. And then I'm finishing up a bunch of UFO signs that say like, you know, UFO parking here and that kind of stuff. And then in progress this week, I still have my UFO lights. Those will be in progress for the next month. And then I'm doing coasters this week too with different UFO designs and stuff on them. But that's what's on my shop. Ashley, what are you doing in your shop this week?
Oh, wow. I mean, how do I follow up that many different things that you have going on at one time and keeping them organized? Props to that.
Oh, it's not organized.
Hey, you still know what you're trying to do. So you have it in line in your own kind of way. I'm working on a set of stools that are about halfway-ish done. So they're like a set of countertop stools. I'd really love to get those done this week. Then I have a miniature corner chair. It's a replica for a commission of a chair that's at the Met that the client saw and wanted a scale model of. So that's a little bit fun and different that I have going on. I have some broom orders I need to make now that the weather is warmer, because you have to, when you make sweepers, you have to hang them up to dry. So it's nice. It's not dry enough really yet with it being cool. So now we've been starting to have some warmer weather and sunshine so I can hang them outside to dry. So those are on the list too.
Alex, what's on your shop?
It has been not a lot because I got the the Shark CNC like delivered last Tuesday, and like I had literally just got it a few hours before recording, like it arrived, and it's still behind me on the pallet there. Because
For shame.
basically, I know I wanted to dig into it so badly, but like right after I had gotten it, like the day after, it was like a combination of like side effects from the like getting off of the medication from the back issues, and then like the change of the weather, and I just got sick and just felt like absolute garbage. So I like, it was one of those things where I was trying to figure out what was wrong, because like I thought it would like, it just, you wake up with a headache and feel like garbage, and so like, okay, I'll take some Tylenol, I'll be fine. And then my stomach was just feeling terrible. But by the time I had like finally got around, I was like, okay, I'll try some anti-nausea meds, and that helped out significantly. And so by the time I had that, it was time to go coach track meet on that Friday. And then we had what was Saturday? I don't even remember what was on Saturday. And then my son had a BB gun shoot on Sunday that we had to help like set up with that stuff and everything. And then I had to have an impromptu track practice on Sunday to prep for a track meet that was on Monday. So it has just been like complete mashed together schedule. And then I have 2 track meets. There's like a JV one and a regular varsity track meet Thursday, Friday. So it's been like one thing after another. So I do want to dig into that CNC, but it's just been like one thing after another. And my grandpa's getting transferred over into hospice, so there's that going on right now as well. So just a lot of stuff right now happening. So I was like, I desperately would love to get in the shop and just do some head down work. That would be wonderful, very therapeutic as well. So I need some of that shop time. So hopefully I can sneak some in before the Thursday track meet. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean, you did. It just kind of went into my head. You already kind of brought this up, so I'm going to move right into.
Nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong.
So it did all go wrong this week for you, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. It just started with feeling like hot garbage in the middle of the week last week, and then I just haven't had any like breathing room after that. Trying to think of something specific that did happen. I know there was like 2 or 3 things, but for the life of me, I can't remember them because the days just run together right now.
It's just all, it was just
relatable.
one bad week that just kept going.
Yeah. Because I won't be able to set up the CNC and do anything because they have the all sports banquet at the end of the month. And so I'll just laser engrave a couple of like mini plaques out of some cherry that I have laying around for like just kind of like fun awards kind of stuff. Because like you've got your like regular awards, and then I'll throw in a couple of just funsy things because like they're trying to get attendance back up for the all sports banquet, because sometimes, you know, it just with a lot of things happening, sometimes people can't attend everything. So it's kind of trailed off the past few years. So trying to make the event a little more engaging. So that's how I'm going to attempt to do that. So I'll have some laser engraving in my future in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Well, Ashley, what went wrong in your shop this week?
Oh, I feel like it's just been very busy between traveling and college visits and just life being life. Yeah, same thing. It's just my daughter runs track, and I'm a former track runner also, like all through junior high and high school as well. But yeah, so I have those.
All right,
track
what
meets
events?
in
What
Athens.
events?
Guess. Oh.
Hurdles, like long hurdles, like a 3 or 4.
That was immediately where I was going to.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. Yeah, 400 meter hurdles. Yeah, I really loved running a 600 for indoor track. Yeah, 400. Yeah, 600.
That's a very unique event that requires skill as well as stamina.
Yeah, it's a hard one, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially when you get to the second to last and last hurdle, you see a lot of people go down in that event.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. I've had my fair share of sliding across the track. Yeah, but that track schedule in the afternoon, so picking up and dropping off and just staying focused, I think, and that maximizing my time in the shop has probably been like the hardest thing throughout this last week for me, just with, kids and extracurricular life stuff just kind of happening all at one time. So that was very relatable that you've kind of had a rough week and track centered as well. Although I'm glad to see you're feeling better.
Thank you.
For me this week, I've had a bad eye. So for those who are watching, you might be able to tell my left eye is completely bloodshot. It is not as bad as it was. I actually called or texted Alex this morning going, I might not be there tonight for the recording because my eye was completely swollen shut. Apparently yesterday I scratched it somehow because in the evening I noticed it was red and sore. And then woke up this morning completely swollen shut, all red. And I was like, okay, urgent care it is. So some antibiotic drops and pain drops. And yeah, so the eye's doing better. It's not swollen anymore and it's just pink now. But yeah. And I wasn't in the shop yesterday. So this is the part that bothers me is like, the time even when I do wear PPE, like sometimes I don't in the shop and it is, I know I'm risking it, but I did nothing yesterday. I was cleaning and cooking. Like there was no reason for me to get scratched. So who knows?
Yeah. The worst thing that I've ever had, like eye wise, is when I'm like trimming up an edge with the track saw. If I don't put on eye protection, sometimes you get like, it's not sawdust and it's not shavings. It's like these little chips that are like almost like sand that you can like get in your eye because since it's not in between and got wood on either side of the blade and you're just trimming like a flush trim and you can see the blade, like stuff can shoot around. And so you get those weird particulates in the air and like, that's painful when you get something like that in your eye as I'm preaching to the choir for Mr. Duffy right now.
Yeah. It definitely feels like there's sandpaper in my eye. So fun. But yeah, that's all that's really gone wrong in my shop this week. Otherwise it was just nose to the grindstone and building and making all stuff all week. So, and we're blowing through our subjects today, man.
Yeah, we've been keeping it high and tight. So,
yeah. Well, I guess we're just going to move right on in. All right, so let's talk about the makers we saw this week. My first one I want to shout out is KG Woodcraft on Instagram. This gentleman is a power carver and hand carver, and he created a hand carved 48-inch long musky fish out of butternut and cherry, and it was all curly wood, so the curl makes it.
I did see this.
Yeah, the way he lined up the curl, it looks like the scales of the fish. It was incredibly detailed and beautiful. So I just wanted to. It looked way better than any stuffed fish I've ever seen. So,
oh yeah, like I saw that in passing, and I was like, that had to have been done on the CNC. But yeah, as you've alluded, hand carved with all those little details. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm trying to. If my phone will load here. There's the here is the picture of it.
What?
Yeah,
okay,
I
curly
mean,
butternut had me interested to go. Okay, I was hoping he like did the like man with the fish pose. That was
right.
Almost mandatory. Like you, that's your prize. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is a beautiful piece of thing. And so he made it for a client. So somebody's, I'm sure, going to have that hanging on their wall, which is lucky. But anyways, that was my first one. What about you, Ashley?
Oh, I took all kinds of notes. I feel like I'm a like graze around kind of person in certain bits, but mostly like bodies of work from certain people seem to like continue to like grab my attention more than even sometimes just one specific reel. Because I feel like one reel sometimes can be like really interesting and they have really great work, but like there's so much to be discovered about a maker. So I've really loved a woman named Lou Taylor. She's in the UK and she does this marquetry pattern work. And so there's always like different versions of her marquetry patterns, and they're so vibrant and bright and just like interesting. It's kind of a different take on marquetry that I feel like you see. And she had posted a reel with these like little fans that she was making that end up being like marquetry brooches for your clothes. I just thought it was really creative.
So was Lou Taylor her handle on Instagram?
Yes.
As well? Okay. And that's Lou spelled how again?
Lou and then Taylor, Taylor.
Oh, I got it spelled right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good job. He's going to tag them in our show. So
awesome. Yeah, she's an amazing artist.
Okay. What I have is it's from Camber. I don't know how to spell this. Ateli?
Yeah, Kyle.
Atelie. I can't remember when they posted this or if it was a repost of what they had done. But so they have this beautiful sculpted, like mid-century modern style-ish chair. And what they did is they cut it in half and then combined it with the chair before it was shaped. So it was still like blocky. So it just kind of like the juxtaposition of the finished and then the, mid-stage construction was just so cool to see. Very, very artistic piece in general. And so like, especially if you know the steps and stages that go to it into making that style of chair, it's just really cool and awesome to see.
Yeah, I had his work written down too. I love Kyle's work. Yeah, I think he has some content on there where he shows how he shapes out those forms. And you're right, it's an amazing progression, and it's so much hand tool work in those joints and curves. It's impressive stuff.
And I think that's the first time I've been the one who's stolen someone else's one. Mr. Duffey is infamous for stealing mine.
Just because I go first doesn't mean I'm stealing yours.
Yeah, it does. It's older sibling rules.
My next one is from Jonas Olson Woodcraft. So I'm just going to show a quick picture of it because it's not, I don't know. It's just an owl with antlers, and it's really cute. It's just something he wanted to make something whimsical, but based off of reality. I thought it was really well done.
The word that I was going to use was whimsical.
Yeah. So it's a white or an owl made out of maple, and then some walnut moose antlers put on top of the owl. It's adorable. So that was my next one. Ashley?
I guess me. I was like, is it me? I was like trying to look up so we could have evidence of who I was going to talk about next. So Merg Works, Morgan Powell. She makes these just mind-blowing brooms. They have patterns across the top, and it's just, and these beautiful weaves down the front. And she did this one. Let me see if I can show her work. So that's really hard stuff to do. Like that is pictorial and done.
Oh yes, I have seen her stuff.
Wow.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of when either they do it with like clay where they pull together something and like make the slices, or like the cookie dough where it's got like the pattern in there.
Yeah, she does so many different ones, but that one is like this whole like creek scene and stars, and just I guess knowing just how hard it can be just to keep the broom corn straight, let alone organized in that way, and like how patient and like meticulous that is to put together. It's pretty wild.
Well, and just the amount of colors that she has to like keep track of. Like you can tell that she's very intentional about the colors to like minimize it, but keep enough detail in there that you can pick out those details. But yeah, I'm just amazed at the keeping track of the colors and organizing that. It's like, my goodness,
like one piece of broom corn goes out of sorts, then it's like, is it messed up? Like the thought of that is like wild to me.
Okay, the next one that I've been trying to search and find the handle for it, but I'm sure I'll find it afterwards. But it was a handmade rocking chair. I think it might have been a stake style, but it's like 8 feet tall. So it's like huge, like regular size. It looks like like the equivalent of like a monster truck version of like a regular rocking chair. So it's
like regular size seat.
Yeah, regular size seat, and then the angle is proportional in terms of like it's the same angle that you would have for like a normal rocking chair, but then it goes all the way out, and then the legs go out so far, and then the rest of the rocking mechanism is just really long, and it's just so cool. I absolutely love it, and I have not been able to find that post again, because I think there were like 3 or 4 people tagged in that collaboration.
Is it a rocking chair for people on stilts? Like, is
maybe
that just so they can have a break when they're
possibly
showing off?
Very, very.
Oh,
yes, that is the exact one.
Is it? My so is Nora.
Okay,
Nora
what was
Berghart.
her?
It's Nora
Berghart with a DT.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think the original post that I saw it on, I think there were like 3 or 4 people that were tagged. So I didn't know if it was a collaboration or what the situation was. But yeah, I thought it was so fun.
Yeah, Nora is a fun person. They work at Openworks in Baltimore. So it's like a craft maker space, and they also have a production side. And that was for one of their exhibitions. They did a chair exhibition. I can't remember the name of it, but the giant chair was Nora's idea. And then I think some coworkers collaborated with them on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great end result.
Mm-hmm. Very fun. And the addition of the cowboy hat, hard hat, it's just full package.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
My next one is I was on apparently a hand carving like feed this week. And so my next one is another hand carver. This is Giles Newman. So Giles _Newman. They are known for very small, intricate carvings, but usually all like nature things, like different like leaves and foxes and stuff like that. But the one I'm shouting out here is, for the first time, they did a ring. And instead of, a stone as the centerpiece, they hand carved, and this is all out of one piece of wood, a rose. And it is insanity how intricate the carving is. I mean, yeah, I'm just super impressed with how good that is. And especially out of a single piece of wood. So yeah, go follow them, because that's just really cool.
Yeah, it looks delicate, and like once you get to those outer petals, you have to be so careful.
I would be terrified. Yeah. Yeah. And especially like, I would, I don't know. Do you wear it ever? Like the person who buys it, like, do you ever wear it because you're afraid to break it? Like, that'd be terrifying.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if you like can soak it in like penetrating epoxy or something to like harden it.
Oh, stabilize it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. What about you, Ashley?
I like this account. It's a guitar account. Shock the Fox.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think because it's a different style of work than my own, I get like really into, like, I'm not a CNC person, but like watching that be used for like the headstocks and inlays and everything for the guitars, I think is pretty sick.
He's awesome, and he's also a NextWave user. He was one of the original NextWave content creators.
Oh wow!
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Alex, do you have any others?
No, I've been preoccupied that I have not gotten very much on social media. People usually know that I am bursting at the seams with stuff to share, so I do not have quite as many. Although I will shout out Ashley, because she does a great job of sharing other friends' reels and content on her stories. So
thank you.
Props to Ashley for supporting so many other colleagues and makers with all of their fun projects that they've been posting. So I've seen a lot of stuff from your feed. So thank you for sharing.
Collaborative, of course.
Yes.
It's so much fun. It's inspirational, like to be in a community of folks with so much creativity and different perspectives. It's so rewarding. So it's, I don't know, everybody's work should be seen.
Absolutely. And I love how playful the community can be, which is what I'm segueing into. My last one here I wanted to shout out was actually a combination / playful beef between Justin Maybe and Jonathan Katz-Moses this week.
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
So for those who don't know, Jonathan posted a YouTube video, and in the YouTube video, he used a tape measure and he snapped it back to then pop the top of a beer bottle. And Justin, I assume, saw that like I did and went, no, that's not, you can't do that. That's YouTube magic, you know, like, and so Justin posted a video of him. And do you guys remember who the other maker was? Cause I can't off the top of my head.
I don't know.
No. Okay. But the two of them were sitting there trying to recreate this by snapping back, and it was not working whatsoever. So Justin tagged back. Yeah, exactly. And so Justin tagged back Jonathan and said, I see how it is. You're lying to us all. And so Jonathan then like posted another reel of him bringing a fresh 6-pack, slaps it down on his thing, and then does it in 2 shots. And basically just says, pushes back on Justin going, your turn, buckaroo, or something like that. And it was really funny. It's fun, playful, goofy. So
I don't know why, but that makes me think of, gosh, I think this was like the late teens when I think it was like an album cover for like Ariana Grande where she's like sitting on the stool with like her legs like pulled up on it sitting. And like a bunch of people like tried to recreate. They're like, there's no way that this is like possible or something like that. So it had to be like photoshopped or something like that. It just reminds me of that. Like people like trying to recreate something and not being able to do it.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, shout out to Justin, who, you know, does amazing documentaries, and including the one about Ashley, if you haven't watched it yet.
It is true.
Yeah, I still can't believe that anybody wanted to hear me yammer on for a while. And Justin asked me, I was like, what? Me? Okay, sure, buddy. Sorry if this one's a flop. I can't.
It was so good. They are, though. That's the great thing about Justin's documentary. They all are winners.
Justin makes you look cool, that's for sure. Yeah, his work is pretty amazing. It really, truly is. I'm a fan besides a friend.
Yeah. Do you have anybody else, Ashley?
One other maker, Lagarde's Furniture. It's Lagarde's _furniture. Patrick just posted a settee that his I guess maybe like, I don't know if you want me to say signature style is fair, but he's got a really cool design work going on underneath the settee, like with the stretchers underneath. And then he's been showing a lot of content with like how he makes those forms, and he shares tips and tricks throughout. And so he has the pictures of it, but also this reel where he's showing like that leg.
I saw that one. Yeah.
I'm very into that. So I'll watch that again.
It gives me a lot of inspiration, because I don't make bases a lot. And so to watch him make a base is really interesting and gives me some inspiration on how to do it. So,
and how do you spell the first part of it again?
Legards.
E. That's what it is.
Cool.
Get it spelled correctly.
Well, on that note,
I'm just kidding.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Say up.
Wow.
Do you guys know what that's from?
That's from Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone. Probably like 42 minutes in, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
It's the broom.
We watch
scene.
a lot of Harry Potter in our household. A lot.
It's the broom scene where they're trying to get the brooms up, and that's the only soundbite I could find that kind of worked with Ashley's brooms. So.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So anyways, our main topic tonight is brushes, brooms, Ashley, hand tools, whatever we want to talk about, but that you create. Now, before we get into that, I do want to ask a question that I didn't ask at the top, because I had forgotten. what, how did you get into Fine Woodworking magazine? Like I saw that you had that spot out. How did that come about? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
You can submit to the Readers Gallery. So there's submission forms for online and also for the published, for the magazine. So yeah, you could just have good pictures of your work and like a good description of your work, and you can submit. So they'll let you know if it's content they're going to hold on to and eventually might be in the magazine or not. Sometimes you get turned down. So it's really just putting your work out there. So I sent that in probably a couple of years ago. So they held on to my pictures for a while before the cabinet was in the Readers Gallery. There's a lot of really, really amazing work out there. So yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, I made it.
Did they give you a heads up once it was going to print?
Yeah. They send you like a contract because they're using your photos, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, they send you a contract and then they send you the magazine. So they send you a copy.
Oh, cool. I can't imagine that was probably super exciting. So. Oh
yeah, it really is. I mean, I guess, you know, when you begin with something and you really, really love it so much and what you're doing. And so any of those kind of accolades, although not necessary, are just like, I don't know, a nice pat on the back through like your dreams, you know? So it was great and encouragement.
Awesome. Well, Alex, do you have questions? I know I've asked a lot of questions of Ashley so far, so.
Yeah, so walk us through, because you had mentioned before when it comes to the brooms and the brushes that how they're made has in large part stayed roughly the same. So maybe walk through with us, because you had alluded to like there's a specific time where you have to like dry them out and whatnot. So maybe just walk us through kind of some of the steps from like the very beginning to finished product and what the layperson doesn't know about making those brushes.
I think it's really neat because they're sorghum grass, like the regular whisk brooms or the big sweepers that you make. They're a sorghum grass, so they can be a weed to some farms, or they're added as like cattle feed, or yeah. So it's something you could grow a patch of in your yard and harvest, and then turn into a functional, usable tool. So I think a broom it became a tool, and I find any use of those kinds of things fascinating. So yeah, they're a sorghum grass and they get harvested, and you can decide if you keep it the length of stalk on the end, and that would get woven into a sweeper where you weave those stalks towards the top. That can get cut off, and then you would have like those whisk brooms that are like the shorter ones that you probably see more of on my stories, because I do more of those currently, because I'm still learning sweepers. I know how to make them, but I'm still refining and getting better with them. So it's really all the same material, but in different sizes being made. So the sweepers, you would soak the tops of those, and it's just to make them malleable, and so you can bend things without breaking them, basically, just like you would steam wood and bend it.
Right.
And so you're just playing with those natural properties and making it go into that weave, and then it dries into the shape that you want it. So it can be like that for the whisk brooms also, but you don't necessarily have to soak those either. So you can just weave those dry. And it's really just a series of patterns. You can just have one whole bundle, and then I use this called a foot brake. So I would put like my string on around the center of my foot brake, and I just use my feet and tension. So I just have that foot brake where my feet are on both sides of it, and I just roll it, and then I twist and weave. And so it's a series of different dexterity, I guess, with just kind of circles. So it's all very simple mechanics for the most part, until you get into those harder weaves, like the things that Morgan was doing, and when and where you want to be intentional. You can stylize them too as much as you want, or be as simple. Like I said, you can just take one bundle and you can continue to wrap around, and as long as it's nice and tight, it'll keep that broom. It'll outlive you, you know. Or some of the turkey wings that I make, people really seem to like those, I think, because they have like a curved shape and they have more of like a zigzag pattern, or just the spacing is visually interesting. And that's just sectioning pieces out, and then same thing, adding and weaving in conjunction with each other. So for pattern, and you can offset colors and add in whatever flair you want to in there.
Speaking of the colors, when do you do that color aspect? Do you do that first after the drying and dye it, or later?
So like you would harvest your broom corn, or you would buy it from somebody, and then you can buy, some people do big giant batches because it is a very labor intensive process. You need to be able to hot water, dye, bath, soaking the broom corn down until you have the colors that you want, and then it's drying it also, because since it's a natural material, you have to be careful with mold. So making sure it's all the way dry, because once it really gets really moldy, you don't really want to weave a bunch of mold into a broom and then set it in somebody's house. So, but there is ways, like, I don't know so much, I haven't learned yet about the dyed broom corn with like vinegar, if it would mess with your dye or colors at all. But like just natural broom corn, if it was to get moldy, you can use vinegar to combat that. But you want to do everything you can in the process to avoid it from the start. But basically it's a dye bath, just like you would dye cotton shirt. You would put it in that hot water and let it soak to whatever tone you want it to be, dry it out, and then you have your color. So, and then you would weave your broom from there.
Nice.
Alex, you had another question?
Well, that was my exact question, was the color. And so you were alluding to you called it, did you say turkey wing?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
For that shape. And that's the one that has it's I don't want to say braided, but it kind of goes down one side so that you kind of have that ergonomic curve to it. So because that's the one that I've seen the most of yours. Is that one more of a requested design? Is that one more of a fun pattern for you to do? What drives making those?
Both really. Yeah, I really like that pattern. But it is commissioned a lot, like all those extra brooms. I think it just seems to be more popular for some reason. There's definitely ways that you can expand on it that I'm kind of starting to get into, but for the most part, it's such a pretty simple form, and I just think it's stylish in its own way, and so it just seems to be requested a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do notice that you do a lot of hand tool use. Is there a reason why you went kind of more specialized in this hand tool style versus going automated, or is it just because that's what you were trained on?
Not really. I mean, because I was mostly self-taught, and a lot of my woodworking beginning was really me just failing it forward and figuring things out. But hand tools always just felt natural to me, and I liked that the margin of error is really just on me to begin with. Like, it didn't feel as intimidating as like the table saw or other things like that. And I like old things, and I'm curious, like I was saying before. So I had done a barn clean out on our property, and I found like a whole bucket of old rusty hand planes, and so restoring them was just kind of a fun thing that I did, and it was like, then it became how to use it properly. But I just feel I like the quiet of them. I like the control, and it just feels like a connection to traditions that I enjoy as well. And just bringing the craft forward is appealing to me, like personally, and so I enjoy that aspect as well. But mostly I just reach for them. I just like those aspects when I get into a job. Like, I do use power tools plenty, but I end up like, if I have a little detail I'm trying to hone in on, I'm like, I'll reach for the chisel or a rasp, or something just feels right to me.
Well, yeah, because especially when you develop a skill for whichever hand tool it is, it becomes a very quick thing to do, because once you understand how to use that, it can become basically just as fast as setting up the equivalent modern machine to it. Because it's like, for someone who like you mentioned, like with the chisel going in and working and cleaning stuff up, like sometimes it's just quicker to like mortise out something real quick, because it's like, yeah, I've just got it there, I just pounded a few times, pop it out, and I've got my mortise there. Like, I don't have to deal with like drilling out extra material and setting it up to like a drill press or a mortise or something, along those lines. So it definitely gets the rap that it's slow because it's hand tools, but once you, I mean, develop the skill to a certain level, it becomes pretty much just as quick.
Efficient.
And very tactile.
Comfortable. Yeah, you're comfortable with that process, I think. And so that margin of error not being there, I think you just take a lot less pause for what you're working on. I think maybe the nature of my work also lended to that, since it was a hobby to begin with, and I wasn't in that press, like production woodwork and owning your business very early on, like, or if you were trained as in an environment, the furniture or things that were more production focused, I think you would probably be compelled to go a different avenue. So yeah, it definitely has its plus and minuses. I mean, as far as time, that's why I think I do lean into power tools probably just as equally, because sometimes I do have so many to do that it isn't as feasible with the amount of time that I have. And it also can knock your production back, but it depends on your clients. So there's always that argument there too. So I think I started out that way, not having to rush through and be able to take my time and build that skill set. And then I've kind of kept that as part of my focus of my work. So then I'm going to have clients that are looking for that also and appreciate that. But it depends. It just depends on some of those factors, I think, for some people, why they might stray away from it or feel like it's too slow or, not be as interested maybe.
Yeah, because I know personally for myself, like I always look towards like what's going to get me the result that I need. Because like sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I've got this like edge on this piece, and sometimes it's quicker to just take a block plane to it to just knock down that edge, or pull out the spoke shave for something to kind of help shape it. And like I had mentioned, like once you learn how to use some of those hand tools, like they're just quick when you do know how to use them. And when you do know how to use them, a lot of times when you're looking at the piece that you're making, like because you are using that particular hand tool, like you make judgment calls on the design where it's like, yeah, I just need to get relatively like this close on this dimension, and it's all going to be relative dimension anyway because this is going to be its own piece. So you don't need to have a like repeatable like make 800 of this particular part. So it's like, yeah, I can just go off of this relative dimension. Like I don't know what this particular depth is, but it's the same as the other one, and it's going to fit with this other piece, and it's going to be just fine. Which is, it's always easy being in a one-person shop when you've got the measurement, because like if you count the line, or if you're splitting the line when you're measuring something, or if it's a little bit shy, or you count the whole edge and that stuff. So but once you have other people in the shop, it becomes much more difficult, especially if you're doing some relative dimensioning for some of those projects.
Yeah. You mentioned design though too, and I do have to say that is another big reason that hand tools are something I go to, because you can make your own shape, and that shape does look hand done versus if it was done machine, whatever that bevel or whatever that router bit is. Everybody's is basically going to be the same, depending on how they use it. But you can achieve some different looks with hand tools, and that look is yours, even though you use the same hand tool as the next person. Like chair seats, how you use that scorp, mine could be pretty untidy compared to somebody who's built, 50 chairs, and their hand is so honed in their style for what they like, however they want to use that tool. So same tool, totally different look. So I mean, that's a big factor too. I like that personal control factor.
I can't remember, did you take a chair class with Greg Pennington?
I did
last year, because it was you and a few other. It was you and a few other people. Because didn't they have like a couple of people cancel on them, and then they needed to fill the spots or something like that? Or did you guys just get in that class? I can't remember what the backstory was.
No, it was really truly, it was just a personal class. Justin had organized everything and just wanted to be able to make a chair with friends, and so he knows Greg personally, and so if there's an opportunity for me to make things with my friends, I'm all in. So yeah, I was very fortunate be able to tag along and go and spend the week at Greg's. We did the continuous arm rocker, which was a blast. It was like going to camp with like your friends and leaving with a chair.
Yeah. Did you guys stay at, because I can't remember, did they have a, like, were you sleep in like the top loft of that one? Did you guys stay in there for the duration of that one? Okay.
Yeah, we did.
That would be so fun. It just feels like a fun woodworking sleepover.
Yeah,
is what it feels like. Or feels like.
Go make things with your friends. Yeah, go make things with your friends. Take classes and spend that time. Even like a weekend class for 3 days. It's just so cool because you're there with the people that you enjoy being around the most, and then you get to share things in that space, and then also leave with something that's like a common bond, and then you have an item that's special to you because you made it, but also those memories are kind of built into it. So it's I highly encourage that activity.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I love about listening to hear you talk is, talking about hand tools and using some older things and also then, heritage style by making brooms. But a lot of your style is still very modern. I mean, I'm looking at furniture that you make with a heavy chamfer and squares but very modernized with a wooden top and a painted base. So I think that I really like that you have such a strong mix of the two, that it isn't just one or the other. You do a great, you marriage them together perfectly. My favorite piece, I think, so I've been going through your portfolio on your website. My favorite piece is, I don't know what you're going to call it, but it's the square with the black base, with
Midnight
the
Dance.
spalted Midnight Dance. It's gorgeous. Like I think it's incredible. And I love that it is so modern, and yet it you can tell a lot of the heritage style that you put into it. So
thank you.
It's really cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I really, it's hard to reinvent the wheel. I mean, with furniture making, those forms and proportions and so many things about that stuff is continuously a thread throughout all of our work. And so I think being unique in some aspect is really difficult. So it's hard not to throw recognition back. Like, that's definitely has Krenov style, the standing cabinets and the case kind of look to it, is definitely inspired by that. And I just like a little bit of contemporary flair, I guess. Being able to have that curvature and things in there is really just personally appealing. So I guess it's just my way of combining things that interest me and I personally find to be pretty. So I appreciate that. It was very kind of you.
Yeah, because the design, because like you said, you put your mark on it. Because like the which one was it? It was the I think it was like was that a hallway table that had the drawer, and then the like the ballerina legs for it that were painted pink.
Oh yeah, Beauty Queen.
Like that one, which is like, because it's something that I never would have thought of combining that, but you look at it and it just works.
Yeah,
and it's like, if you're like, yeah, this is like, it all makes sense, like design wise, and I know from making things and trying stuff out in proportions and all of that stuff, the amount of work that it takes and the amount of decisions that it requires to get to that point, just the appreciation of the design process of it. So maybe like, even for that particular piece, maybe walk us through a little bit of some of the decision making that you went to arrive at that design that you ended up choosing. Because is it one where it's like you've got it in your head and I know exactly what it is, or it just kind of like changes as you build it and you're like, this would look good with this particular feature or this little what have you, that little bit of flair that's added into it?
I feel like design for me is, I definitely get ideas that are, wild at times. And I try to scribble as much down as possible. Even if you're not great at drawing, or you think you're not great at drawing, a sketch is all you need sometimes to translate something out of your brain and start to look at it, where you can morph that. And then you can continue playing with different parts of it and stretching things and adding things and rethinking it every time. And then you're also able to step away. So for that piece, I like that foot and leg shape style is just something I really enjoy. And I love standing cabinets. I just think the form is really interesting in that I just wanted to play with the standing cabinet form some more and I also think being being a woman woodworker, you experience a different walk at times, and with your work and how it's presented, and also how people interact with you. There's like this dichotomy where you have to be fragile and be looked at as if you're still fragile, and also incredibly tough at the same time. So I find that very relatable in like ballet, and that's where that foot kind of originally drew me in. And it's just, to me, symbolic of that journey, is that as fragile and delicate and smooth as something can move about, it's so gritty and tough and incredibly interesting. And so I just love the idea of things like up on point that way. And I think the negative space aspect of standing cabinets I enjoy, where you have the form and you're really going to look at those legs, so they become very impactful. And then you have so much space out around it, that's not there, not filled. So your focus is on that form. And so I just think it's a fun way to maximize that leg shape, and something that I just like to make. And so, yeah, and the standing cabinets are functional, so you can have playful and fun and something with like a bit of visual movement, but also be able to put all your stuff in a drawer. So I think that functionality aspect draws me in as well. So I just start out with some ideas and then just start sketching things out, and a lot of erasing and redrawing. And then with Beauty Queen, I did have a friend at the time work on some CAD stuff for me to help me visualize some of the changes, because I was worried about it doesn't take much to change the impact. So it could be a 16th of an inch, it can be an eighth of an inch, and you're like, whoa, that's just too heavy visually. So the way that let's call it the top of the knee, the legs, I was concerned was going to be too large. So most of the time I don't really draw in CAD. I usually just sketch things out, or I make scale models, or I'll do a full-size prototype, or I'll do cardboard mock-ups sometimes. Just cardboard from shipping, because it's cheap and you can cut and make stuff around, and it'll give you a visual at scale for no money investment. So, and you can put some screws and tape and kind of mess around with stuff. So I'll do that, and I'll just iterate. I'll just continue to change things until it starts to feel like this is it. I like where this is at. It feels good from here. But even with all that planning and design time, I still feel like as I'm into the piece, I'll add or change things as I go with like what feels right for the material. Sometimes things just don't, like, it sounded good or it kind of looked okay, but then when you get there with that material, you're like, it's too loud or too heavy, or needs something to change a little bit. Or you have a mistake and you're like, oh, okay, this is the time. This is a design opportunity now. So with that one, it was just the idea of being playful, fun, another standing cabinet because I enjoy the form, and just iterative, a lot of messing with those proportions a good bit. And I really just wanted to use the figured maple. I really like figured maples, but I hadn't ever worked with bird's eye, and it felt bubbly. And to me, in my head, I was like, bubbly is where I was kind of going with that. I like the idea of somebody flitting through life, and it's just fun and bubbly and upbeat, so it's kind of where I went with it.
Well, yeah, and what you're saying about it looking in your head a certain way versus in person, because even after you've made models and whatnot, especially painting the base versus if it was like a natural wood color, like it could be the exact same shape, but adding in that paint color could make it look completely different, even if the dimensions are exactly spot on the same, and especially with like organic shapes. Because sometimes I also get lost in the organic shapes where you're just kind of, you step back and you look at it and you're like, yeah, maybe a little bit more on that one. And especially because you're replicating 4 of those legs in that organic shape, being able to replicate that as well is also super challenging, because doing it once is it's fun, because like especially playing with live edges and doing that, like I enjoy that. But doing that in addition to making it match the other legs and be repeatable is also just a testament to skill just overall.
And I love that you weren't afraid to go with that playful, bubbly aspect. Like, and you brought it up as a woman woodworker dealing with, misogyny and crappy old men who decide that, you shouldn't be in the craft, whatever. But because you could have easily gone a different color like black or dark green or something, and it would have been a completely different shift in mood and change. And I love that you saw, the bird's eye and thought of pink and bubbly and went with it. And it looks to me, it's perfect for that piece. So it's such a great piece.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like you get one shot at all this. You know what I mean? To play and have fun and really represent yourself and your ideas. And like I said, there's only so many forms out there in all of this. And we're going to have some parallels in all of our work and things like that are going to happen. But if you have those big ideas, it's like, why not paint it pink? Go for it. Have fun with it.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting gears a little bit. I wanted to ask, because you are a teacher, and you said that at the beginning of the episode, you said that kids teach you things. So I have two questions for you. One, what can you think of something recently that one of the kids taught you that, of that? And, but also two, what is the scariest moment as a teacher that you've had to deal with in a wood shop? Because I've heard horror stories from other teachers. So
yeah, well, I teach mostly just from my own shop. So I only a woodworking teacher. I don't have to. I do teach kids intermittently because I'm a Girl Scout leader too. So I've taught them wood shop, and we do derby cars every year and things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll have kids in the shop, and sometimes my kids' friends are always like, "Wow, what's in here?" And so I'll teach them. But mostly I teach adults. I teach veterans, and so I work with an organization called Plain Wellness. So anybody with a mental health diagnosis can be a mission student. You can also take classes with us anyway too, and that also helps further the mission so that people can take classes for free. So it's just a way of community support. So adults are so much fun. I think where kids are kind of off the cuff and they're just so sincere and straightforward and honest. They don't spend usually as much time with what that reaction or question is. If something's intimidating to them, they're like, "This is really scary. How do I do this?" Yeah. Or they're going straight ahead and you're like, whoa, let's have a little more fear there. But adults are fun because they come with their own perspective fully. And as hard as that can be sometimes, it's also really great to work with because when you work in your own shop and you have your approaches to things, there's some really creative problem solving out there. And when someone asks you a question and how they're interpreting that information, you get to look at what you're doing from a different angle. And it definitely is rewarding later, even in other projects. So whatever that approach may have been, you've just learned from another student, just simply off of their question as they're learning something from you, it becomes applicable down the road in some other way. So that's probably my favorite part of teaching. And the same thing overall is community, just knowing that people have a space where they can go and learn things with peers and maybe make friends or just feel like they have the ability when they leave to go home and do something that makes them feel empowered is pretty amazing. But as far as kids go, my son had some friends over and I had just finished building a shave horse for chair work. And they were like, "What is this awesome, huge knife?" They were all about the draw knife. And they're like, "How do I use this?" And they were blown away that I made the thing to make the chairs. So the shave horse was their minds were just "What is this?" And so they were awesome. So I got a dowel with them and they were so careful with the draw knife. And they were trying to go as delicate as possible and pull this draw knife out. And they were so into it. It was just so much fun to watch. So that was probably my most favorite teaching thing recently.
That's awesome. Nice. So speaking of, so if you want to plug, do you want to plug doing classes?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I teach online at Plain Wellness. You can go on their website and they have a whole course catalog of other teachers besides myself. But I teach a shaped lead class. I teach a scale model class. And then I teach a Krenov hand plane making class. So that's what I'm mostly doing for now. I'll probably add some things as I go. I'm also supposed to be teaching later at Montco Makerspace. I can't remember what date because we switched the class, but that'll be a Krenov play making class as well in the summertime.
Yeah, because those switch between virtual and in-person events, and they're not really locked into a certain region. They're all over the place, right?
Yeah, we're all over the place. So yeah, there's teachers everywhere, and there are some that are in person. Mine are online, mostly through Plain Wellness, but they're Detroit, middle Midwest, a bunch south into Virginia. There's a bunch of teachers in all kinds of different locations. So plus doing online, so you can learn from your own shop.
Yeah, because I saw the scale model making one, because that one comes up on the 22nd of May, right? I think that's the date for that one. Because I saw that and I was like, that sounds like a really interesting class that would be a lot of fun. So yeah, you've got
so low
some
stakes.
cool classes.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love scale models. Totally. If you're interested in making furniture, or you just have like these ideas and you want to make them a tangible thing, it's just such a cheap way to get ideas out. So, and if you don't want to sketch, you can make a little stick figure sketch and then start to make some cool little models from it.
Cool. Alex, do you have any other questions?
I did want to come back to the brooms and brushes a little bit. So for those ones, obviously them being made out of a more organic material, they're a little bit different than like what you would get with like a plastic bristle brush. Where do they shine, or where would you maybe not use those particular brushes that you make in the shop, or just anywhere in general?
That's a great question. Honestly, I mean, not just because I make them, but they sweep so good. They're so much better at sweeping, and you can change the length at the bottom of the sweep, or how stitching is done for how loose or tight of a sweep that you have. So it really can be specified to like what kind of things you're cleaning up, whether it's your shop and dust, or it's a kitchen broom, and it just they honestly do a really, really great job. That things don't get through those fibers quite the same, so it just cleans very well. And I think they also decoratively, like you could hang it on the wall and it looks like a little piece of art. So it's kind of hard to compete with that, because a metal handled plastic broom isn't quite going to give you that. And I also like that it's a natural material. It's more sustainable overall, I think, also. And they last and last. So they don't fall apart on you.
Yeah, because I can't remember, did you say that you grew your own, or that you got them from a different source for your material?
I have not grown my own yet. I did start to consider whether I want to grow a patch and try it. It's the harvesting part where I'm like, oh, the time. Also, I am not the environment that you thrive in if you're a plant. So even though it's an outside plant, I still have reservations about somehow killing an entire plot of sorghum grass or something. But I buy mine wholesale for now. There's a couple different places that you can order from. And there's also people who will grow their own, like smaller, also like broom makers, or people who are into natural fiber, and you can buy from them also.
Nice. And because you guys actually do farm as well, correct?
Yep.
Because what do you guys, are you more on the livestock or more on the crop side of things?
Livestock.
What do you have you're more livestock. Okay.
Yeah.
What all
I
do you
have
guys?
cows. Yeah, we
okay.
have a small group of beef cows, so just black cows, and then we also are involved in the dairy industry. So like all my kids have dairy heifers and participate in 4-H, and so we usually cut for hay, and it's really the beef is majority of what like uses our ground, and so we would rotate and graze and through, and so we have cow, calf, and just a little small operation, and then our dairy heifers, and then we have some cows, but they go up the road to a friend's house that is a full dairy. So, and then we'll help them milk and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say dairy. Like people who have dairy, I think, are just cut from a different cloth entirely. They're like, it is so involved with, like, there's just so much stuff going on. I obviously don't have to tell you about it, but I'm
It's a
just always
lifestyle.
fascinated. Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle with everything that goes on to keep stuff running. So yeah, yeah, you said that and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so, like, I just know I can only scratch the surface on how much work there is for it, but I know that there's a lot underneath, like the iceberg, where it's like there's so much underneath you do not see from the surface of it to make everything happen.
My wife, her uncle and aunt live in Minnesota, and they have a dairy farm, and they have I think it was in 2005 or so, he won an award because he was in the top 0.05% of dairy producers in the state or in the country, one of the two. And they give him a big plaque and stuff. But yeah, he has like 500 dairy cows and they're out there consistently. It's crazy. It's a whole, like you said, a whole lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the odds of, like, with 500 cows, the odds of my husband probably knowing who they are is pretty high. So yeah, because my husband grew up on a dairy. He was like a 5th generation farmer, and so he works in the dairy industry now and the corporate side of things, and that's part of why we have the dairy heifers and stuff like that. So yeah, dairy industry is a huge part of our life, even though we don't have like a dairy ourselves. And that's what my oldest, my son, that's his part-time job. If he's not at school, he's out of dairy the other direction and works at that dairy too. So he's up at 3:30 in the morning on the weekends. So yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle, a lot of hard work. But yeah, so what's the name of the farm by chance? Especially if it's Minnesota. He actually interned there.
I'll tell you off of camera. I don't want to share the last name without them over camera.
You don't want all of us to show up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's see. That was the last question I had, Alex. Did you have anything else?
No, my ADHD has been satisfied.
Oh, good. Ashley, where can people find you? How can they, if they want to get a brush or if they want to, talk to you and take classes, how do they reach out to you?
Okay, well, you can find me on my website at shallowcreekwoodcraft.com. You can also find me on socials at Shallow Creek Woodcraft. I'm mostly active on Instagram. And so you can send me an email. That's all accessible from my website, or shoot me a message.
And Plain Wellness is plainwellness.org, correct?
I believe so. Oh my gosh, Jamie,
okay.
Don't injure me. I believe so.
All right.
That's what happens when you just, okay. Yeah, it's like, that's what happens when you just have things populated in your phone and you get really lazy about it. You can just put it in.
Yeah, there's just an autofill that's on there.
Mm-hmm. I feel you. All right, moving on to...
Good news, everyone.
So Maker News this week. I don't have anything other than my UFO Fest is coming up in May. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest, make sure you check out McMiniman's UFO Fest coming out May 15th and 16th. We also have the Midwest Maker Meetup, but Alex, I think you're going to be attending that, right, Alex?
Yes, that one will be in Omaha, and that'll be on the 16th. So that's the same weekend as yours. So either region, part of the country, you'll find something. And like I already mentioned the Ashley's scale model making class that's on the 22nd, and of course she's got other classes that are on there, and a whole host of other classes that I couldn't go through all of the topics on there, but you can just populate that from plainwellness.org. And I think that's about everything that I had schedule-wise for events and things happening.
Yeah, I will shout out again. Last week we had the guys from the Maine woodworking event on. Their event is coming out again in August 8th, 9th. And funny enough, our viewers got a little preview last week, Ashley, because Brandon Smith has 2 of your brushes and they were in the background. And so like I pointed them out and he was like, oh yeah, I got them from Ashley. And I'm like, we're going to have her on. So yeah.
That's Brandon's trusting me to speak in front of a bunch of people. So yeah, come hang out.
That's going to be fun. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Ashley. And until we talk to you guys again, remember,
in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, night. Got milk?